Brand new video you're looking at right now from the scene of a tragic accident at Riverside State Park tonight. A man died after falling several stories off of a rock. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward. The 21-year-old victim, we have learned, fell 30 to 40 feet. First responders say it happened just west of the Bowl and Pitcher Suspension Bridge. Crews arrived at the scene just before 7 o'clock this evening after bystanders called 911. So you can see here on this map the general area of where that man fell. That's also where KREM 2's Casey Decker is right now. He joins us live at the scene with the very latest. Casey.
Yeah, Whitney, as you can see, it is still an active investigation here west of Bowl and Pitcher. In fact, the lights from this scene are likely visible from many parts of northwest Spokane right now. We're also now learning more about exactly how this tragic fall happened. Just before 7 o'clock tonight, a 21-year-old man and his friend were hiking near Morin Trailhead. They then went out on some high rocky cliffs, and on their way back, one man fell. His friend, also a man in his 20s, called 911. The man had fallen more than 30 feet onto some rocky land below, so to be clear, not into the river. The place where he fell was extremely difficult to find. First responders called in a Lifeline helicopter, which had to do multiple pass-bys in order to spot the men. I'm told that the friend who called 911 was wearing a yellow shirt, and that's actually how the helicopter was able to finally spot them. At that point, a technical rescue began, headed up by Fire District 10. It was the friend, however, who initially started CPR. The rescue was incredibly challenging, and eventually the man did die. At that point, it became an accidental death investigation led by the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. Now, the latest update is that investigation is still ongoing. Eventually, firefighters will have to perform a very technically advanced recovery in order to retrieve that body. That likely won't even begin for several more hours as that death investigation continues. Reporting live near Bowl and Pitcher, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Casey, thank you very much, and we will continue to track that throughout this evening as well as the weekend. In other news, a judge sentenced a man to more than 36 years in prison for a double murder in Spokane Valley. Gilberto Delgado killed two siblings in 2016. KREM 2's Shayna Waltower heard from the family of the victims today.
Yeah, the main reason for coming to court today was to get Delgado's sentencing, but we also got the other side, the emotional part of all of this from the friends, the family who have lived through this entire experience for the past few years.
I hate you for what you have taken from us.
They are searing emotions that came 3 years ago when this mother got the news that her son and daughter, Daniel and Brenda Kennison, had been shot and killed. Brenda was at Daniel's home when her ex-boyfriend, Gilberto Delgado, chased her into the house and shot both of them. Brenda's 7-year-old son, Cooper, was sitting outside in the car. Court documents say he called in the murders after he heard the gunshots. And today, all of the resulting emotions resurfaced as the family faced Delgado in court.
I want to look you in the eyes to see the pain you have caused with the cold-blooded actions. You have changed all of our lives forever. God bless us all.
Your actions have changed every aspect of my life, and I will never understand how you could have committed such a heinous crime.
What would you have done if you had seen Cooper in the car? Would you have killed him too?
I told Danny and Brenda as they were laying side by side at the mortuary that I would make sure they get the justice they deserve, and today they are getting their justice.
Before the judge gave Delgado his sentence, Delgado chose to speak to the family.
I hope that one day you guys can forgive me for what I did, but if you don't, I understand.
The family says today marks the close of a murder case, but the beginning of their journey toward healing. At the Spokane County Courthouse, Shayna Waltower, KREM 2 News.
Well, we are seeing a lot of support this week for Okanagan Fire Chief Christian Johnson. He was badly burned over the weekend battling the spring coulee fire. According to a GoFundMe page created for him, he just had surgery on his arms today. More than 60% of his body was burned. Members of the Washington State Council of Firefighters are now helping support his family. Johnson is in a medically induced coma right now at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. Officials say they are expecting him to be in the ICU for a minimum of 2 to 3 months. Well, Roos Field is getting a facelift, so don't worry, the Inferno is staying, but we'll let you know what is changing and what Eastern has in mind. That's coming up next.
For the better on Up with KREM. Morning Brush gives you more news in less time, so you can make the most of your morning. It's faster, it's fresh, and it's bold.
Make the most of your time. Get up with us on Up with KREM. KREM 2 News is sponsored by Airstream of Spokane.
I could have chose to stay with Ford Corporate in Detroit or enjoy the easy life of my first dealership in Grangeville, Idaho. I chose here, not just Spokane or the Valley, but the surrounding beauty of the Palouse and Rockford, the honor of Fairchild, the strength of Freeman, the celebrations in Cheney, the harvest of Spangle. Ford buyers of Eastern Washington are different. They get who they are, what they want to do, and where they are going. They're about community, honor, hard work, and giving back. Spokane is the center of these strong roots. I chose here, and our people are as true as they are tough. They are built Ford tough. Whether you're a lifelong Ford owner or curious about joining the rest of us, we want to welcome you to the family, the Gus Johnson Ford family, home of built Ford tough people.
This hot rod runs on unleaded, but this mom runs on the new 2 for $4 super snacks from DQ. I can mix and match my 2 favorite snacks for just $4. Like pretzel sticks with zesty queso and a sundae, cheeseburger and a refreshing Coke, or even chicken strips and fries all day, and all for just $4. Buckle up, hunger. That's pure snack power.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Power is the biggest touchscreen a truck's ever seen. One that can see 360 degrees. But when you surround it with 19 speakers, back seats that do front seat things, and end up Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year, that's the power to innovate. Come to Ram Power Days for great deals on the most powerful lineup of pickups.
Now get an average $14,600 in total values on the 2019 Ram 1500 Classic.
It's here, the newest, easiest must-have app for everything Spokane.
Yeah, we've got quite the...
From breaking news to hyper-local accurate weather alerts.
Yeah, this is the Doppler.
The all-new KREM 2 app, now available in the App Store. You're watching KREM 2 News at 11.
Well, what do you think about that? It's what Eastern Washington University's new stadium might end up looking like. Today, a task force made recommendations to the Board of Trustees to make the stadium basically look like this. So Tim Pham shows us what's inside these new designs.
The last time Eastern Stadium was renovated was about 15 years ago in 2004, and some parts of the stadium are even older than that. There's nothing else like it. Game day at Roos Field. While the vibrant red turf stands out, other parts of the stadium, well, could use some TLC.
We have issues regarding the concessions, the bathrooms, and that sort of thing. So there needed to be an overall update.
This stadium was originally built in 1967 and is the largest gathering place in Cheney. This year, an 8-member task force looked into what improvements they could make to the aging facility.
We have a lot more covered space. We have a lot more freedom within the general flow of this stadium.
The renovations will cost about $25 million and will come solely from fundraising and donations. Since they can't use state dollars to build or remodel athletic facilities, the task force says the project is based on addressing critical needs. Athletic Director Lynn Hickey says this is much more than an investment in sports.
There's people that are from all walks of life, that from all different kinds of cultures, and for about 3 hours, we're all together. And we're all cheering for one thing.
These renderings show some of the concepts presented to the board. Architects want more of a bowl format to improve the fan experience. This means new seats that are closer to the field, new concessions, restrooms, and club suites.
This fits who we are. It upgrades it, but it keeps us to really being true Eagles and what we want out of the experience.
They won't break ground until they fundraise most of the $25 million. The task force believes they can do this in 18 months.
The architects working on the design here at Eastern also worked on athletic facilities at Gonzaga, Whitworth, and WSU. Reporting in Cheney, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.